Crisscross, pulling floss, needle thread from black to red, pink, navy green, and in between, snuggles my brain. I'm Stitch Me Sane, and welcome to my Flosstube channel.
Hi Flosstube! My name's Carla. Welcome to my Flosstube channel at Stitch Me Sane. You can also find me on Instagram and TikTok. Today is the 29th of August here in Melbourne, Australia. This is a channel where I talk about my love of all things cross stitching. If that's not something that interests you, you might want to move on. Otherwise, grab some stitching, kick back because I have a lot to show you today. Welcome to anyone who's new here, and welcome back to all my already existing subscribers. Thank you very much. It has been about 5 weeks since I filmed a video, and a lot has taken place. I'm looking at the piles in front of me. I always sort of get a pile of everything I've worked on since I last filmed to show you my progress. And this month was also my birthday month, and I sort of attacked it with a whole variety of new starts. So it's been pretty busy and I have a lot to show you. I just had a quick flick through my notes and realized that I have 18 pieces, including those new starts, and only 5 of those I showed you in my last video. So this is Flosstube number 13, and let's get going. So I'm going to kick off today with a piece that I did show you last video. It's called Mandala. This is what it's going to look like when it's finished. It's by Beck Counting the Stars on Instagram. It's an Etsy store. I had it on my Wheel of Stitches goal for July, and because I filmed earlier in July, you hadn't quite seen that finished goal yet. It's now at 16.11% complete, and I added 327 stitches since you last saw it. I'm stitching it on an 18 count aider. I'll just fold it up a little bit for you, and each of those mini tiles is like a little mini finish, of which I actually now have 7 complete. So this is where I'm at now. So those 7 are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and recently in those 327 stitches, I finished this one here, this purple flower. So I hope my lighting is good today. It's a really miserable day here today in Melbourne. Raining, grey skies, back to winter. We're on the verge of spring. I can smell it. It's coming, which is exciting. I love the heat. I'm in my warm jumper today, which is a bit annoying, but nevertheless, that's what it is. So there you go, an 18 count aider. I'm stitching at 2/1. I actually have some anchor substitutes in this one. I can't really point out where, but essentially I sort of worked over this way for those 327 and filled in a lot of this mandala, which actually takes over 3 of the tiles, and then another sort of different one with a fan comes in there. So all up, there's 100 mini tiles, if you like, on this piece. And each of them is like a little finish, as I said. Yeah, she's got a lot of wonderful charts, lots of mandala, bigger ones too, in her store. If that's something that interests you, I highly recommend. Her prices are really good too, and they easily transition into Pattern Keeper. So yeah, that's my mini mandala tiles. And that's going to go away for a little bit, I think. The next one is quite exciting. This is The Lion King by Thomas Kinkade. It's a paper chart, and it's part of the Disney Dreams collection. There's a number of people stitching this collection. Alicia from The Adventures of Stitching has actually created a Kinkade Brigade hashtag on Instagram. So this is the larger Lion King chart. There's 2 versions of each of the Disney charts, a larger and a smaller version. I have a variety of them in my stash. This is the only one that I have started. And my daughter Fleur, I'm actually stitching a number of different sort of Disney pieces in my whip pile. And my daughter Fleur has sort of taken control of how we are to stitch these. I'll actually show you a photo of where I was at last time as well, because I showed this piece on my last video because it was a July Wheel of Stitches goal. And as I was saying, where is it? Oh, it's still on a hoop. Fleur has taken over, so she tends to select a book that she wants to read, and from the Disney, because we've got like so many. And then I work on that piece, and we have been working our way through the Lion King book this month. And this is where I am at now. It's on an 18 count. It's the called for Ada. It's so nice and soft. These have a lot of blends with filament, which I haven't quite reached yet. But I think it's looking fantastic. You can see some of the blends in there already. So some of these, that darker color there is a blend. Some of the purples are already blended threads. And I've made quite a lot of progress. It was just sort of like 20 minutes while she was reading each night, but I'm really, really happy with that. So I'm not sure if I'll keep working on this. We'll see what Fleur thinks about the Disney rotation. But yeah, I'm very pleased, and it's really fun, and I'm not too sure what I'll do about the filament. I think I'm kind of heading towards Mufasa at the moment. They were Fleur's instructions, so we'll see what happens moving forward. The next, I've decided to sort of slot my Stitch Me Saying Wow segment in now. For those of you who are new here, it is a segment where I have a selection of really powerful female images that I'm stitching for a vision of a wall of women, hence wow, which is where that comes from. It's a hashtag on Instagram if you're interested in jumping on board. Lots of people already have. Thank you so much. I get a real kick out of looking at the hashtag, despite Instagram's recent changes to how we all view things. But yeah, jump on board if you want to. Stitch Me Saying Wow. And the first one for this particular segment that I will kick off with is something that has made a comeback. It's Hummingbird, and I can't actually recall if I showed it on my last video. Let me just have a quick look. No, I did not. Okay, so I don't think I even pointed out, perhaps I did, but this piece went into timeout for a little bit because I discovered it was a copyrighted piece. I have later obtained consent from the original artist to actually continue stitching my chart, and it is Hummingbird, one of the very first full coverage pieces that I started and kitted myself. It has some anchor substitutes. This is what it's going to look like when she is finished. I went for an 18 count Ada back in the day on my bigger charts, so she is pretty big. And I recently got to 25%, which I was really thrilled about. So it was selected for one of my August goals. Where are we? Yes, so Alicia chose Hummingbird and I spun 2.5%, which I, confession, haven't actually finished at this stage, but it's not technically the end of the month. And being in Australia, I quite often like to ride the kind of time delay that you Americans have with my goals, and sort of gives me an extra day, if you like. So I'm really proud to show you this piece. Actually, I've been working quite heavily, and it has had 1,746 stitches this month so far, and I'm at 25.64%. So here we are. This is Hummingbird. Isn't she beautiful? Ooh. So look at her eye. I'm going to come in and show you the detail. This one also has a lot of blended threads. I do have 2-page finishes, I think, on her. Look at that. There's that bird. I worked a little on the bird, but look at her eye and her ear. Oh, I love that so much. And you can see that other bird, that hummingbird, as I come out there. So this is an 18 count natural Ada. maybe oatmeal. I'm so happy with her. So I still have a little bit to go on my goal for this month. I think probably around 600 stitches, which I hope to smash out. Ooh. And I'm really looking, I mean, you know, 25% is probably the furthest along I have on what I call my big pieces. And it really feels like something. So that was a really exciting goal for me. And I'm looking forward to smashing out that last bit and maybe continue working on her, because I have missed her. I haven't worked on her since last year after obtaining the consent from the original artist. So I was very pleased with that. Okay, continuing on the Stitch Me Saying Wow segment, I next have a paper chart. This is Summer Repose. Instagram doesn't often like two of my pieces that I'm going to show you. This is what she's going to look like, and you might appreciate why, despite it being a beautiful piece of art. It's by an Etsy store, Stitches by Rinna. And I started this a little while ago, actually. It's just what I call, it's actually my smaller pile of whips, my smaller ones. It's on HAED and it's only 40,000 stitch count. And it's only 11 colors, and it's designed to look like sort of like a sepia effect, if you like. So I added only 238 stitches, which is not that great, but hey, every stitch counts, right? And this is where she is at. So I'm pretty much avoiding her bottom because, as I said, Instagram is not a fan, so I'll probably leave that until last, and I'm working upwards at the moment. So look at that effect taking shape there. So just to get a bit of a comprehension, this is her arm, and this is sort of half of her back coming there. This is the border, this is the full corner here. So that gives you an idea of size. It's not that big. I think I'm at nearly close to a quarter of the way through this as well, actually. It's on a paper chart, if I haven't already mentioned that, which is quite easy with the 11 colors because it really is just sort of blending them in. I'll bring it in closer so you can see the shading that goes on there with the 11 colors to get that sepia appearance. It's really quite nice. I can see a bit of gap there with my 310 on coverage, but in real life I'm really quite pleased with it. It's fine. 18 count is fine for full coverage, I think, personally, for 2/1. Ooh, I don't work on this one enough, actually. I would like to work on her a lot more. So yeah, she's Summer Repose. Showing you a lot of HAED today. We'll get to a little bit of different. If you're new here, I do stitch on all fabrics, so I have linen, Lugana, and HAED, depending on the piece, the size. I'm even getting I've got a couple of navy fabrics to show you today as well. I don't do the fancy fabrics because I'm primarily a full coverage stitcher. But you never know what might happen down the track. My stitching adventures are certainly becoming more and more creative, and I'm trying lots of different things, particularly recently. Okay, next one is Dandelion, and Angie at Angie Slowly Crafts here on Instagram, here on Flosstube and Instagram. She's also stitching one of these from the Dandelion Fluff Girl gang at Kaylee Tent Stitch over there at the sewing shop. Go check out her Instagram page, Kaylee Tent Stitch. Really, really great whips. Not only is she a fantastic business, but she has fantastic stitching of her own. Anyway, back to Angie. She was also stitching on her Dandelion Fluff Girl gang piece this month for the wheel. And so I jumped on board and joined in because I'm stitching one. Oh, it's on a hoop still as well. And this is a round one. This is what's going to look like when she's finished. So stunning. And I'm working on the background, but I actually got in, 1,560 stitches, which I'm pretty pleased about. And I hit 2% on the dot. So that was pretty good. This is where I'm at. So this is actually a 28 count. Here we go. 28 count 1/1 Lugana. And I tend to approach a lot of my full coverage pieces like this if the background has a lot of block stitching. So I'll come in and kind of give it my own gridding if you like, so that I can just count away and come back to the background whenever I please. This is a Bluey needle minder from JK here in Australia, JK Stitching. It's also an Australian cartoon, Bluey, and it is sensational. So as you can see, I haven't really got much to show you on this piece, but there is a couple of those smaller sort of puffs coming in there in the circles, and surprisingly, it truly doesn't look like it, but I think there's at least 15 colors going on in this already now. Lots of different shades of grays, greens, and browns almost. So looking pretty good. I'm gonna slowly work towards, I'm actually on the way to get to that pink flower that you saw down the very bottom. It's about here. So it'll give me a little bit of color to work with on this piece, which I think will motivate me to want to pull it out more often, because as I said, I'm only on 2%. Angie's flying along on hers. She's doing it 10 stitch, and she's just gotten to the eye. She posted it on Instagram. Oh, so good. So I'm pretty inspired to get to my girl's face as well, Angie. Okay, I have, would you believe, I still have 4 to show you in my Stitch Me Saying Wow segment. I was on fire this last 5 weeks, it appears. So next is Paradise Found. This is what it's going to look like, and I started this for my birthday last year. So there you go, we're in August, it's been a year already. So where am I at in that 12 months, you ask? 4.03%. It's a big one though, in my defense. It's 250,000 plus stitches, 262,000 I think. So that's not too bad. I did hit the 10K 1,000 stitches as well actually, which is quite a milestone. I really do like that 10K mark. It's a bit of a sweet spot. Really means that it's kind of really, it's on the go now. You might have a page finish, you might be close to, you're working over multiple pages, and you can really usually start to see a little something at the 10K mark if it's not just that solid background. This piece, however, in terms of background, has something going on all the time, but at the moment it's been all the beige, and I actually just have discovered a loose needle. I'll throw that on Bluey. So this is a 25 count Lugana, and this is where I'm at. You can see a flower there, but as I just said, I was working on all the beige, so all of this here I was sort of working on. I did get in 1,191 stitches, so that's pretty good. I'll just bring that in for you so you can get a look at, again, I think this has got 87 colors, so it's no mean feat to get all this going on. I'm actually using anchor substitutes in here as well, and the black I've subbed in, so that's anchor. It's not DMC. Dylan, my partner, is having a bit of a chuckle at the moment because this bit here he thinks looks like moldy colors. Fair, I said, but you just wait until it's all blended in. So yeah, that's looking really good. Her hair, to give you a reference, I'm kind of heading for her hair is about here. So I'm really not far off. And I'm really liking that lacy effect now that's sort of starting to come in. But that little flower is really cool. This is artwork by Janelle Nickel. It's a Heaven and Earth Designs. It's been a little while. I haven't even told you the important information. Called Paradise Found. So I'm really pleased with that one. It's one that I actually wanted to kind of have done by a particular birthday. At this point in time, that's nowhere near on track. But if I keep chipping away at it, it'll slowly, you know, that target finish date on my stats will creep in. Next one is another Heaven and Earth Designs. So for a bit of a reference, I have 7 Heaven and Earth design whips. And today I think I'm showing you 3 of those. So we've seen Paradise Found. This is my next one called Yes. This is what it's going to look like. I'm pretty sure I can pop a photo in of where I was at. And I've worked mainly on background. So this one's getting a little tricky to show because I'm sort of headed downwards. And I only put in, where are we? 692 stitches, only in background, for a total of 12.83%. And this is where I'm at now. So you can see her face and those boots. And I've been filling in, so I've come across here. I filled in a little bit more of this circle here, a bit more of this one here, and I've been filling in this here as well. It's all block stitching. So those 600 odd stitches, which is that what I said? Yep, went pretty quickly. I really love her face. Let's bring that in a little bit closer for you to have a look at the detail. All Heaven and Earth designs really have some phenomenal detail when you stitch them. They are just so much fun. And then you just stand back and it's like, wow, would you look at that? Sorry, I'm really pleased with this one. And I do work on this one quite frequently. You can see the pig's head coming in down here and the scarf. Oh, working with those pinks was just incredible. This is also a 25 count Lugana and I'm working 1/1. So anything for me, 25 count or above, I do a 1/1. Anything below that, I go a 2/1, which is an 8er generally. So 20, I do have quite a few pieces on 20 count 8er where I go a 2/1, but not these bigger ones. All of my Heaven and Earth designs are on a Lugana or a linen. So that is Yes. All my hanging threads. And this one also has Krynic in it as well. Actually, I put a little bit of the Krynic in already. Where was it? Here. Just there, if you can see a bit of sparkle going on. So the pig has a lot of Krynic. There's a bit here. And I think some of the floor tiles, if I recall, also have a little bit. I'm really pleased with that one. And it is one that I work on regularly, but I tend to flip this one out for another one of mine, Enter the Void, because they're the sort of 2 that I really enjoy working on and want to continue to work on. So I kind of rotate those in between videos because I use my videos as a bit of a reset, if you like, for where I'm at in my stitching. So I'll now put all of these away, all of the pieces that I'm showing you that I've worked on, and sort of start again with the goals that I have planned in mind, and also my stitch what I want when I want, because that's really kind of how I roll. My goals are like, you know, pretty fun goals that I actually really use to a lot to engage with my friends. So like Angie, Alicia, and Barb and I have got a bit of a fun game going on, which I will get to as well, that I haven't mentioned, and I've actually showed you a couple of pieces, so I must mention that. Now, my final Stitch Me Saying wow piece for the day is Ariel. This is one I am stitching for my bestie. And I did post it on Instagram actually, because she recently said to me, what's going on with my piece? Where's mine at? I haven't seen it in ages. Fair enough. Oh my goodness, I just have so many amazing pieces, that's why. But I've pulled this out and I put in 461 stitches for a total of 2.8%. This is part of the Ditch the Background sale. It's not actually an entirely full coverage piece. That white down there that you see is not stitched. Thank you. And of course I went a center start. Most of my bigger pieces I generally start in the center. Although lately I've been finding the top center is a sweet spot as well. I've got a couple where I've started there and I really like that. But I generally am not a corner starter. because it gives you the ability, in my opinion, to just give you free range to stitch wherever you want. And again, like how I choose to stitch on which whip, that's sort of how I stitch, is wherever I want to go in the moment. So I'm pretty cross country, if we want to talk methods. Okay, enough. Here we are. This is a 28 count Lugana. I've got so many park threads that you can't quite get the full effect, but look at her eye. Oh yeah, I'm really happy with how that's looking. And I mean, the purple's my favorite color, and the purples in this is just, oh. So if I want to get a bit of a purple fix, this is my piece. And I do like to stitch on this, like if I'm talking to my friend on the phone, or if I've seen her recently, it gives me a bit of a buzz to pull it out. Again, this is one that I kind of want to complete for one of her milestone birthdays. That might not happen either, but you know, it's good to try these things. And I do find it quite funny when a year passes and you have all these plans, and then you get there and you're like, wow, well, you know, what seemed like such an easy, you know, 10-year goal or whatever is now not seeming so realistic. I actually enjoy that. It makes me laugh and sort of reshift my focus a little bit until I get distracted from something entirely fabulous by watching one of you or seeing something on Instagram. But yeah, so I'll try and work on this one more, Victoria, if you're watching, which I seriously highly doubt you are. I love it. So that's the last Heaven and Earth design that I have to show you today. All right, oh goodness, we're nearly at half an hour, and okay, we're more than halfway through. I hope you're still with me. I'll have a little bit of an update on a few new things that I've acquired at the end, and some plan talk for September. So stick with me if you can. I hope you're enjoying the stitching. All right, so we're gonna kind of get into the new starts that I've been having during my birthday month now. One of the next one is one of those. It's Barbie, and in fact is also by Counting the Stars. She released it around the time that the Barbie movie was released. I have 3 daughters. Everyone was hyped up about it, and I love color, and the colors in this piece just wow. Check it, like, not to mention the options as to how you can stitch this. So I gave it a little bit of thought. I have a lot of scrap 14 count white Aida, and I thought, you know what, breaking these up and stitching one for me, one for the girls, and I'm gonna go put them on a big tote bag. So a 14 count Aida would work sweet for that. The one that I have started is the top left corner, I believe, on the chart. And I haven't gotten a whole load in because of the new starts, but it was 436 stitches for a total of, now this is the tricky part, I haven't divided up the main piece into my percentage, so I'm only at 0.51%. But each of the square Barbies break down, I think, to just under 10,000 stitches, or maybe 9,000. So really doable to have a couple of tote bags. And I think they'll be like really fun and bright and colorful. So this is where I'm at, 14 count Aida, 2/1. It's a pop art piece, so I love that kind of look. Got some good color coming in there now. Surprisingly, I think there is 37 colors in the overall piece. This designer, whilst the pieces look sort of simple in their appearance, they're not, and that's the same with my Mandala tiles. That's got 35 colors or something like that. So there's lots of lots of counting to be done, but that's my kind of stitching. I love a bit of confetti, but I also love, you know, just having the in-between, not quite block, not quite confetti. So just trying to get the light there, looking good. This is actually the start of her hair there coming in, so it'll come over here. I would really like to work on this a little bit more, actually. The Aida is still really stiff. Look at it. It's like, but oh, I've actually been stitching this in hand as well. So when it's new Aida, particularly 14 count I'm talking, I actually find it really easy to stitch in hand until it softens up. And then I find it's best to then go on a hoop for me. And I've done that with a couple of pieces. So we're still in hand at the moment because it's just so, you know, so stiff. So that's Barbie pop art. Next one is a new start as well that I started because my partner, aka Stats Boy, because he keeps all my numbers for me on the StitchPal app and reports back like a project manager, which I just love because it keeps me a bit, whoa, where am I at? Primarily, I really like to know if I haven't worked on a piece of mine in like a good few months, and he just gives me these little reminders. Nudge, nudge. Anyway, he went out and he selected this piece all on his very own. So I just realized I missed one in my Stitch Me Saying Wow segment. Yeah, so there was a deal if you bought 2 charts from this shop that I've only really just discovered on Etsy. Stitch is So Beautiful. Yes, on Instagram. Charts are incredible. Anyway, the woman in a field of flowers. So let's just park Dylan's piece for a minute. Go back. I don't even know what I have done. It's because I've been dumping other things on top of it, which is why I didn't see her. She's still on a hoop. Okay, so let's just go back a bit. This piece, you may have seen this on Instagram. Woman in a Field of Flowers, and Pennington Terrace started it, that I saw anyway. There's heaps of people that have started it now, a few months ago, and I was like, wow, I really love that. And I kind of parked it in my mind for a little bit because I was planning on not starting any really big full coverages for a little bit. But yeah, that one just would not leave my mind. And then the business had a sale, 2 charts, I think it was 40% off. I was like, sold. What else am I going to buy? Which is why I asked Dylan to select his very own chart, and we'll go back to that. So Woman in a Field of Flowers, I jumped on. There's a sale on Instagram. There's something about this one that just really grabbed me. So I started it on a 25 count Lugana, and this is the center top start that I was referring to earlier. And I've already put in 1,260 stitches for 0.79%. Look at that. So I'm pretty pleased with that already. Get a good angle there. Lots of blues and greys, and in fact her hair will come in here. I really like this little needle minder too. I got this for my birthday from Dylan. So I plan on going pretty hard on this one actually. I'm really enjoying it already. It's not massive. I mean, that's 25 count. I think it was 169,000 stitch count. 122 odd colors. And as I said, there's just something about this chart. So I really want to kind of bring her hair down into her dress and see what happens. Beautiful. There's just so many little bits and pieces there. So I apologize for that one, missing that one. Now we'll go back to the one that Dylan selected, which is this. How incredible is this? The colors. You loved it on Instagram too, thank you. So I went with a 25 count navy Lugana because I have ditched the background on this one. It was 15,939. Nope. I want to finish this one in the next, I don't know, before I'm 150. So I've ditched the background, and so far I am completely loving it. I've put in, this is the funny part. So on Pattern Keeper, I've already started like eliminating the 939, which has been really fun to watch my like targeted finish date, which is next week or something, which is not going to happen. So I am already at 34.98%. Would you believe? This is where I'm at. So I'm going to have fun with this one. Hang on, let me get it the right way. I went with a center start. Let me bring that in a bit with the folding so that you can not have anything in the background. So there we are. I'm so pleased with it. And would you believe I already have 9 colors completed? Like, that never happens. So these pinks and purples here, yep, 9 color complete. I love this effect already. I think it's going to work really well by ditching the background. This here is actually 939. It does have a different impact on the navy, which I think is going to really bring out. There's actually quite a bit of 939 splattered throughout the chart, not just in those corners, which I think will just give the whole piece that emphasis because the actual fabric is a little bit lighter than the 939. I'm so pleased with it already. Dylan is too. I think, I don't know, but I reckon I'm already close. There's at least 500 stitches in there. I know that I went pretty solid. So it's not huge. The stitch count was only 40,000 to begin with. And by eliminating the 15,000, which I haven't completely done yet on the 939, look at it. It's gonna be awesome. So yeah, great choice, Dylan. Thank you. And I'm really looking forward to making some more progress. I've been working on it while we've been watching The Walking Dead. We're completely and utterly sold on like finishing The Walking Dead. I've only watched about half of it, and then I convinced him to join me on starting from the beginning and working our way through now that it's actually finished. And yeah, we're pretty sucked in again. So I've been working on that while we've been watching that together. Okay. While we're still on the navy fabric, this is one that I started for the 2x2 sale on Instagram, which is an Etsy store over there that I keep seeing people start all these amazing cool charts. So I thought, right, I'm gonna start one too. And I think I actually even showed my original start on this on my Flosstube 2 or 3 vids back maybe. And I was like, yeah, I'm good to go. I wasn't good to go. I wanted to give it a little bit of a creative flair as opposed to stitching it with one color. But I didn't want to go too far beyond that monochromatic look. Anyway, I've landed on something. I went with I think it's a 712 and one variegated DMC thread. And I am loving the effect so far. This is what it's going to look like when it's finished. So I ripped out what I'd already shown you, and I had a bit of a restart, not that there was much progress anyway. I put in 1012 stitches. So I'm calling this one of my new starts for August. That's how I presented it on Instagram. And it is now at 3.16%. So this one's fairly small too, I think about 35,000. All right, I'm looking forward to seeing a little bit more come through, but hopefully you'll see what I'm trying to achieve. So I'm using the variegation to just give it a bit of something. I love that border so far. It's a very simple border. It's just a repeat of that circle with a tiny little extra square in the center of every alternative one. And this is a 25 count. Actually, it was the other half of this one. So that actually worked well. I got 2 really pieces that I'm so happy with out of this fabric purchase. Yeah, so I'm not going to work with the variegated thread the same way throughout the entire piece. I'm going to give it a bit of thought. So the fence, for example, I'll probably do a little bit differently and maybe try and give it more of a wooden slat look. I haven't completely ruled out bringing in one more thread. I have this beautiful kind of pearly white, slight tinge of grey variegated DMC, I think it is. Just one skein. And perhaps I might do the swans with that. I think that might look really pretty as well. I think this is a really good example too of something that's a little bit different to what I usually stitch. And let me tell you, I'm having so much fun with it. And I'm really enjoying just the 2 threads. Yeah. So I think I'd like to continue working on that one actually. Next up is another new start. I already have two of these pieces on the go. They're from a collection from an Etsy designer called Donna Stitch. They are the Disney fairy tale collection, and I just love them. Stitchy Aardvark actually just finished Sleeping Beauty on Instagram, I think I saw. Oh, they just look so good when they're finished, and they're so fun to stitch. Whilst they are mainly block stitching, it is, you really have to count, and they have like a 3, 8, 10 kind of outline in all of them, so they've all got a similar color. They look like a collection. I have all of the charts. This is the third one that I'm starting. I'm also doing the Little Mermaid and Alice in Wonderland, and I call Fleur Bear. As I said to you, she's completely and utterly on this Disney cause and insisted actually that I start this one in the New Starts August month. So that I did. I also have enough of this particular fabric to stitch the collection if I want, and I'm going to keep it that way because it's my favorite linen that I picked up. I love it. It's 28 count, and this is what it's going to look like. So this one is the Brave one. We recently watched the movie again. Why not? And this is where I'm at, a very meager start. Unfortunately, it's only 193 stitches, 0.49%. They're pretty big. They vary in size anywhere between, I think 32,000 is the smallest, right through to 42,000, but thereabouts in the stitch count. This is where I am at. So I started on the top center again on this one, and I started with her crown, her tiara, whatever we want to call it, with a little bit of the sky there. So there's 193 stitches. Not much to report, but Fleur was happy with that. I actually have already frogged a little bit, so that just goes to show you that you do really have to focus and count and concentrate with these ones. They're not as simple as they look. And my piece of fabric is actually way too big. I should have cut them smaller to save it a little bit, but there we go. So that's Brave. I actually have Alice in Wonderland to show you as well, so I should just show you that now while we're talking about this. I did work on this one a little bit for the prompt that I was referring to that I'm doing with Barb, Stitch Brat, and she's here on Flosstube and Instagram. Please go and check her out. She's a good friend of mine, and we started to sell everything Alice sell. I decided to approach this one a little bit differently and stitch the 3, 8, 10 outline first. And the prompt game that I refer to actually was created by Marjorie Made Stitches, where you essentially write down a few things that would prompt you to work on a certain whip and pull it out randomly. So Barb and I created our own jar of random sort of prompts, and we pick one. Well, she actually picks one every Friday on behalf of both of us. And one of the ones that was drawn since I saw you last was Heart. So I selected Alice in Wonderland and continued working a little on this one, and actually got to the top of the Queen of Hearts, her crown as well, lots of crowns. And I put in 563 stitches, and I'm now at 6.71%. This is 28 count linen like the other. And I love this outline. Look, just excuse this. I had to frog a huge section because I miscounted, and it would have put off the whole piece from there, so I just frogged it. And I'll get back to it at some stage. But look how amazing that outline is looking. So we've got Alice, we've got the White Rabbit, and we've got the teacup handle coming in. I worked on all of this bit here, and these here are the crowns starting to come in. So I think that's looking fantastic. Barb's gone completely different. She's started up the top of hers and she's coming down to the Cheshire Cat now. So we're nearly merging that way. But I kind of want to pull in this teacup and work towards those really cool playing cards. And Heart just worked really well for this piece. So they're my donor stitch pieces, and Little Mermaid I didn't work on. That's actually the one that I have furthest along too. Pentatonic. is my next start, my first ink circles that I started in late July for Barb's birthday, and she actually also started one as well, a different one to what I did though. This is Pentatonic, and I put in 870 stitches for a total of 2.47% now. So whilst it wasn't one of my August starts, close enough, it was late July. And this is where I'm at. I went for a center start, and I mean, it's just incredible. I'm really digging at the moment those 310 outlines, the stained glass look. I know a lot of those charts are flying around on Instagram. I've got a couple that I've sort of started recently. I've got a Carolyn Manning one called Stained Glass. And I just really like that sort of black outline, color it in look. So center start for me. And this is, goodness, I've lost track almost as to which way we are. It's this way. Okay, that's where I'm at. Oh, that's looking so good. So that's, what did I say? 870 stitches there. I'm really happy with it. I think this one has, so this is one of those roll your own ones, I think, that you can kind of select your own colorway. All the instructions are in the chart to do that. But I went with one of the recommended colorways because I was just so drawn to the combination of colors. So it's got four kind of colorways. So there's a pink, a yellow, a blue, and a green with 3 colors in each, and then the 310. So what's that? 12, 13 different colors. This is now I thought this was an 18 count, but I think it's 20 count. Now I'm looking a bit closer. Regardless, it looks awesome. Says me. Oh, is it the right way now? Yeah. So I'm just going to keep kind of working out from the center wherever my needle takes me. I'm kind of putting in a color, bit of black, whatever takes my fancy. It's going to be a lot of fun though. It's I think this was about 40,000 stitch count as well. So again, in my smalls pile. Isla, my middle daughter, she actually loves this one. And so does Dylan. So there's some more motivation. Okay, here we have, hope you're still with me. I think I've recovered on time. May push out to over an hour, but I'm okay with that. I've got 2 left, 2 pieces to show you. So see, 3 pieces to show you. My notes have become a bit cramped. There's too many. I might need to put it on another page next time. It's 2 mistakes I've made. So this is my unconventional cross stitch piece, Memento Mori, my orange stunner. The other one that I have a little difficulty with on Instagram, who doesn't appreciate art at its finest. A lot of orange, a lot of yellow, and Fleur really loves this one. And sometimes occasionally just says, hey mum, you should work on Memento Mori. So it's one of those pieces I don't really get down and dirty with, but I will pull it out and put in 245 stitches every now and then to get it to 11.65%. And this is on 25 count Lugana. Here we are. So this one's really long and skinny, and that's the full height of the chart. So that's each bottom corner now. Those 245 stitches I worked were, if I can recall, yes, it was this part here. So I put in that yellow and that orange, and I actually pulled out a little bit further of the top border there. My mum likes to refer to this one as spray paint. She thinks it looks like spray painted on. So I'll bring that in there. I've got 1 full page finish and even a couple of color completes on this one already. It's not huge, it's 109,000. And you can see the sort of start of the wave there coming in the center. But I'm really pleased with that completed page there. That looks really good. There's a lot of colors. There's over 80 colors if I recall, maybe 66 or something. But yeah, this one can't be underestimated. There's a lot of block stitching, but there is a lot of orange in different shades. Yeah, so that's 11.65%. I'm pretty pleased with that actually. And I'll just give you an idea of how long and skinny it is. There we go. Long and skinny. Which is also cool. I quite like different shaped pieces, like my Dandelion Puff Girl being round. That's 25 count. I do love a 25 count 1/1. The 28 count, I actually think I like that appearance better, but I need better light to work on that. These ones I can just pick up pretty easily. Lucky last, I threw this one in at the very end because I had a goal for August, 250 stitches that was selected by Andy to go in on my Farewell to Anger, which was my very first Heaven and Earth design. So in fact, I've had 4 to show you out of my 7 because I forgot about this one earlier in my video, and I put in 251 stitches, so technically 1 more stitch than required. I'm now at 5.81%. This is a fairly large piece and it's max color, so 237 colors, which is no mean feat. I still don't have a page finish on this one, but we are around just about to crack 15,000 stitches. This is one of the ones that I did start in the top corner, and I'm finding it has restricted me a little bit as to where I can go, the freedom for me to stitch where I want, and I think that may be hindering my progress a little bit. Gee, this one's well over 2 years old too now, I think, so it'd be nice to get a little bit more on it. I also had a restart on this one because I discovered that I didn't like 2/1 on 25 count when I first started it, so there's been a bit going on, but it's the Leonid Afremov piece. I mean, there's so many stitching, all of his artwork, and they're just all incredible, and I just love them all. The colors are amazing. 25 count, 1/1. That's where we're at now. So yeah, I'm really pleased with that. It's starting to look really good. You can see the lamppost coming in. The 251 stitches that I put in were actually sort of around here in some oranges, and I put in a bit of 310 as well just to get it moving pretty quickly. My needle minder here is by Ginger Stitch AU. It's got a little bee on it. I really like that one. Let's come in so you can see what max color looks like up close. Now I know that they all might look like the same color to you, a lot of those blues, but I can assure you the work that goes into these are just, yeah. Look at that. Really see that tree coming in. I'd really like to actually outline that lamppost a little bit more. You can see it, but not quite. So that's all the progress I have for you today. That's everything I've worked on since I saw you last. As I said, it was my birthday, so I did get a little bit of stitchy goodness. Dylan replenished my shopping list, my DMC shopping list, a couple of times in the month, which was great. And I just kept slamming more on, hoping that he'd come and bring me a little DMC parcel of goodness, which he did, thank you. He also went and gifted me 2 hanks of silks for You Silk. I've never owned hanks of silk. Sorry, I should have done this before. I've never owned a hank of silk. So to now have 2 in my possession is a little exciting. This one is PR102. Would you look at that? Oh my goodness. That is just glorious. Look at that. Oh, it just feels so beautiful. The other one I actually haven't taken out of its packaging, but you can get an idea of the colours. This one's PR142, which is just beautiful. Thank you, Dylan. I don't actually know what I'm going to do with these babies yet, but so far I've just been having so much fun staring at them. I mean, I'll probably look into a sampler. I do like a few of the ink circle ones actually, which might be really fun to start stitching with my silk hanks. He also got me a little scissor holder. It's got a magnet in it, with some scissors, which is really cool. They'll be really great for traveling. So thank you. And I got some stitchy kindness from Barb. I got an amazing little parcel with some other bits and pieces for the girls from Disneyland, which was just incredible. Thank you. And I got a 36 count linen Miss Tilly's Teal from Vintage Needle Arts, hand-dyed fabric. Oh, how good is that? Thank you, Bob. I'm so excited. There's a bit of a plan for this piece. If you're familiar with Shannon Christine, you might know what this color is for. Come Christmas time, it's time, because that's another piece that has been on my mind for some time. Thank you, Bob. I'm so excited by that one. It's also my first hand-dyed, like, fancy fabric, so that's pretty cool. A couple of months ago, I actually won an award at work, and I got myself a gift voucher on Amazon. It took me a little while to settle, but I bought myself a kit, and it got delivered, and it is this Dimensions kit in her garden from the Gold Collection. Excuse the glare. Where are we? Ah, oh, look at that. And then look at her shawl. That is wow. So I was planning on starting her for August, but time's running out, so probably not at this stage. But I really, really love her. So yeah, look at that. It's on an 18 count Aida. And I think it's got quite a bit of everything going on in this one. The colors are beautiful. So that will be fun to start at some point. I have seen one person finish this on Instagram, and it just looks so good. I've started a couple of those like vintage style book appearance pieces recently. I don't know what goes on in my mind. I'm gonna need like a humongous house with so many walls with all of these visions I have. I just realized I forgot to show you a piece as well. I don't know what's going on today. My notes were a little bit too crammed. A lot of you probably also know that I stitch a lot of Carolyn Manning pieces, and I haven't shown you anything today. I did work on one, which is really unusual for me too. I usually show multiple Carolyn Mannings because I have got 7 or 8 of those on the go too. But the new start's got me a little distracted this month. So before we finish up officially on my progress, Unicorn, my travel piece, I strictly only use this for my travel piece, and I have made a bit of progress on it on the train lately. I'm stitching it as 4 separate pieces, one each for my daughter and I. And drum roll please, I actually hit 50% on the total piece. It's only 27,000 stitch count, mind you, but I'm at 50%. And this is where I'm at on one of the pieces. I kind of rotate them. So I also have anchor subs in this particular Carolyn Manning piece, not all of them. It's a 20 count Aida, 2/1. And I worked a lot on this diamond here. And came out here as well. So not too far now. They're not that big. They're about that big. And then I'll frame them all as 4 little separate pieces. I'm still not 100% sure as to who's going to get which one. But that gives you an idea. Let me come in close there. That gives you an idea too on my coverage for the 20 count 2/1. I love it. I think this is beautiful coverage, particularly on Carolyn Manning pieces where you have those block stitches. I think it works really, really well. So there we go. Okay, I did have a Carolyn Manning piece. All right, that's it, I promise, that's it. What else did I want to talk about? I think that's, a couple more things that I got. I did show this on Instagram as well. So I started collecting these pieces of porcelain, the antiques, and they have this, what I've discovered is an Old English sampler pattern on them. And I've been finding little bits and pieces here and there in op shops, thrift stores for others in the world, secondhand places. And recently I found this collection all in one hit. It's in pristine condition, and a bit of research suggests it's from 1930 to 1940. It's just so pretty. Look at these. Look at the detail. Even the little border is stitched. So that one's like a little gravy boat. And I got like a little milk jug. All with, look at there's no chips. Even the gold chintz, I think it's called. Is that how you pronounce it? Is still in immaculate condition. With the label. Oh, I couldn't leave it there. So anyway, I brought it home, and my girls are now like, what are we going to do with this antique collection of random items? This is a serving bowl. Oh my, is that not just so pretty? And the lid. Look at that. So pretty. Could you imagine this is a giant ort jar? Just throw it in. And I got some teacups and saucers as well. I don't even drink tea, but I'm actually thinking maybe now I need to start. So, in true Carla style, I went and bought some fancy tea. I'll probably try it. Just so I can use my fancy teacup and saucer now. I love it. Anyway, if I find any more pieces, I'll keep you updated. There's actually another one that I use as an it's a trinket dish, but I don't have it here with me. That's my porcelain collection. Okay, that's all I want to show you. Let's talk a little bit about plans. My Wheel of Stitches has come in for September, so I've got 2,000 stitches on arrival to spring. One of my Heaven and Earth designs, selected by Angie. Great choice. I've got Starry Night, selected by Alicia, 500 stitches. Dylan's going to be pleased because I haven't worked on that one since the start of the year, so great choice there too. What else have I got? Barb just informed me that it's Sampler September next month. So thank you to everybody who answered my question regarding whether I should frog that big error in Pandemic, which is actually my only sampler, truthfully, Long Dog Samplers. Most of you agreed that it had to go. So I'm thinking my contribution to Sampler September is going to be accomplishing frogging that error. Thanks to everyone who gave me that feedback. I knew deep down that's what had to happen. Sometimes you just need other Stitchy friends to confirm that you've got to slog that frogging out. Girl, you just got to get on with it. What else? I think that's probably about all. I'm going to rotate between a lot of pieces that I haven't worked on in some time. Still aiming for my 1 year whip parade in November, and really want to make sure that everything's been touched. I did a bit of a stock take on my whip pile, and if I'm not careful, come November, it's going to have doubled since my first whip parade and my introduction to Flosstube last year. So I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but you know what? I'm happy with where I'm at in my stitching. So really that's all that matters, because this is a hobby that I love, and as long as that's the way it's tracking in my mind, then I think everything's all good. What else has been happening? My workload has been really, really intense in the last month or so. I've had some experiences at work that I haven't really had professionally before, and I'm just feeling really privileged to be working in the space that I am at the moment. So yeah, going to still put in a lot of time to focus there. My girls are tracking really well. We've had a few wins in basketball lately, which has been good. So we had a few losses for a while. We're coming into spring, as I mentioned, and me personally, I love summer. So I'm really looking forward to that. I've got some cherry blossoms at the front and my blossoms have started coming out. So that's really exciting. I might post a photo when they're full blossom because they look incredible. There's a white and a pink one. That's really about it. And I'm just looking forward to now. As I said, I use these as a bit of a reset. So looking at my pile, I'm already thinking I'm going to put that away and where am I going to head? Actually, Angie, I need to head to Hummingbird because I haven't finished that goal. But what else am I going to pull out? So that's all very exciting. Looking forward to watching a bit more Flosstube. I'm really sorry, everybody. I've been a little bit behind, but my list is there, and I'm looking forward to getting stuck into that soon. And yeah, I guess you'll see me over on Instagram. Come join me on TikTok. I've been pretty active there of late, and I'm really enjoying that space. It's really a different type of platform to here and Instagram. So having a bit of fun there, and a bit of content that's quite different to either of the other platforms that you might see me on. So feel free to come over there as well. And yeah, if you liked what you saw today and you're still here with me, please feel free to subscribe, like. It is all, it all just reinforces that what I'm putting out there is something that you guys are actually picking up and enjoying. So that validation is always good. In the meantime, I wish all of you the very best for whatever comes your way in September. I'll certainly see you again closer to the end of next month with my progress update and where I've been working. Might have even started on my silk at that stage. But take care, everybody, and most importantly, happy stitching.